What's up, everybody? I'm Matrix Andrea, and this time we're going to be playing New Game Plus of Elden Ring using my Faith character. So let's get started.
Hey!
Alright, so I've done New Game Plus before, and that was on my PlayStation 5 version. This time I'm recording on the PC, and I finished New Game with her, and I got all of the achievements on Steam, so I'm going to do New Game Plus as a more comprehensive playthrough.
The fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Now, Queen Marika the Eternal is nowhere to be found. And in the night of the Black Knives, Godwyn the Golden was first to perish. Soon, Marika's offspring, demigods all, claimed the shards of the Elden Ring. The mad taint of their newfound strength triggered the shattering. A war from which no lord arose. A war leading to abandonment by the greater will. Oh, rise now, ye tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of long-lost grace speaks to us all. Horalu, chieftain of the Badlands, the ever-brilliant Gold Mask. Fear, the deathbed companion, the loathsome dung-eater, and Sir Gideon Othmere, the all-knowing. And one other, whom grace would again bless. A tarnished of no renown. Cross the fog to the lands between. To stand before the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord.
Alright, so Journey 2, same as last time, but this time it's on PC. Before I go in to fight the boss, I'll show my build, and I'm going to change my weapon to the halberd. So there's my stats, stopping at 150 like usual. 55 vigor because I couldn't afford to go up to 60 with what I had. And 80 faith because she's always a faith character. Since I did a comprehensive playthrough on the last new game cycle, I picked up a few weapons that I didn't have on the PS5, including the Erd Tree Seal, which is a great faith casting tool. And let me get my defense up. You can see I'm using plus 25 weapons and plus 10 weapons. Also, my character's face on the PS5 wasn't quite pretty. I had to go onto a YouTube video for how to make a good looking Elden Ring character to get her to look how I wanted to, so she turned out alright. I tweaked it from what I saw in the video, and I'm happy with how she turned out. Did the same thing for my male character that looked like me. Alright, you're supposed to die at that boss in New Game, but in New Game Plus it's not so difficult to take it down.
Don't worry, Torrent. Fortune is on her side. We found her here after all. One of her kind is sure to seek the Elden Ring. Even if it does violate the Golden Order.
Alright, you can see after you die, you end up here in the tutorial area, and I'm going to run through it and kill the boss just because. Let's see, my primary weapon is the Clean Rot Knight's Sword. I tend to stick to thrusting swords, and I like to clear out my inventory. I don't like having garbage weapons, so give me just a minute here. Alright, so we'll run through the tutorial area. And here's a grace which functions like a bonfire from Dark Souls. I did a lot of my last playthrough with a straight sword, but I find that I favor thrusting swords when I'm playing. They attack straight on. You can generally only focus on one enemy, and you can also poke from behind a shield if you need to. Using the brass shield, same as me. One of the best medium shields in the game. Now, ordinarily in this tutorial area, you get a bunch of tutorial pop-ups, but I've got those disabled. That's a stake of America. If you die near one of these, then you'll respawn here instead of at the last grace. That's the end of the tutorial area. Now we can get up out of here and go into the lands in between. Because she's a faith character, most of my weapons are flame. And I think I've got one holy sword. But that's strictly for dealing with enemies that are strong against fire. I'm going to be sticking with this weapon for most of the game, occasionally changing over to the halberd. And also, like usual in these games, I'm going to cut out all the NPC dialogue so that nobody has to listen to it. Since I said this was a more comprehensive playthrough, I'm going to try to do all of the Remembrance bosses. And if I forget one, somebody can mention it to me and I'll try to fight it after I finish the game. Alright, and we can start moving from here to that church over behind us, and we're going to fight the boss on the way because he should be no problem on New Game Plus since I've got all of my weapons. But he's no joke if you fight him in New Game. A lot of people weren't expecting that back when the game was new and they got steamrolled. So I'm not even gonna lie, I'm not particularly good at dodging. I always use a shield in the Souls games. I'm not gonna try to be some expert that does no-hit runs. So you can see that my shield saved me quite a few times from getting hit. Alright, that's Kale back there, and you can buy the item crafting kit in New Game from him, but I've already got it, so I just bought some of the pots that he sells, and I'm going to move on to the gate front. So in the Souls games, I always solo, but in Elden Ring, I'm going to use my Spirit Ashes, because a lot of these bosses are relatively tough, and I have nothing to prove, so I'm going to use my Spirit Ashes, mostly the Mimic Summon, to do a lot of damage for me. See, I've got my seal in my right hand, and when I summon the Spirit Ashes, she functions as artillery for me. Throwing Black Flame and Giant's Flame take D, and I think I've got Earth Tree heal. Yeah, so she can heal herself when she takes a lot of damage.
Greetings, traveler from beyond the fog. I am Melina. I offer you an accord. Have you heard of the Finger Maidens? They serve the Two Fingers, offering guidance and aid to the Tarnished. But you, I am afraid, are maidenless. I can play the role of maiden, turning runes into strength to aid you in your search for the Elden Ring. You need only take me with you to the foot of the Erd Tree. Then it's settled. Summon me by grace to turn runes into strength. Ah, another matter. Torrent has chosen you. Treat him with respect.
Because it's nighttime, we're going to travel back to the Church of Ella and meet with Ronnie, talk with her, and then we'll come back to the gate front.
This way, Tarnished. May I have a word?
Alright, so I got finished talking to Ranny, and then later on we'll meet her again, and I'll probably do most of her quest because there's a part that you need to do to fight one of the Remembrance bosses, so we'll get to that later. But in the meantime, let's warp back to the gate front and then move on to the Weeping Peninsula. Now that I have Torrent, I can ride fast, and I'm gonna rush past all of these enemies. Also, because it's night, we're gonna fight another boss up here that's on horseback. on horseback and he moves so fast. I was using a weapon with long reach, hence the halberd. And now we'll travel down to the Weeping Peninsula and go through Castle Morn and fight the boss down there. Like I said, I like to solo these games. The only time I didn't was in New Game 7 of Dark Souls 3 because I had a really hard time with Sister Frieda. So I would summon phantoms as a distraction. They often didn't know what they were getting into because she would do so much damage to them, which was unexpected at level 150. I didn't like a lot of the bosses in Dark Souls 3 because I'm just not good at roll dodging everything. I tend to block everything, and you lose so much stamina with a shield in Dark Souls 3 that I had a really hard time playing that one. I more favored Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1, where blocking with a shield was a good strategy against enemies. I'm not so good at roll dodging. Even with omnidirectional rolling, I never got really good at it, so I tend to stick with a shield. That's Arena behind me, and she wants me to deliver a letter to her father in Castle Morn. I always tell her yes, but the thing is, I can never find him, and I don't like to screw around looking, so I'm not going to end up delivering this letter. I'm just going to go ahead and fight the boss down there. And there should be another Knight's Cavalry up here so we can fight with him. We'll rest at the Grace and then we'll move on to Castle Morn. after we do Castle Morn, I'll quit the video and go back and edit everything so it turns out like it's supposed to. Some of the things I like about Elden Ring over the Souls games is that you don't lose stamina while you're running if there's no enemies around. You can jump. You don't lose 50% of your health if you fall 2 feet from a drop. And you get a lot more stamina, you know, for a little bit of endurance. And I didn't have to focus on much endurance. Indeed, she's only got 20 endurance, and I can wear this decent looking armor and carry the weapons I want to carry. Another thing I like is that you don't need a ring to sneak up on enemies. You can just duck down and walk up on them and catch people off guard. I also like that you don't have to risk getting invaded every 5 seconds just for playing, unless you're playing co-op, which is fine with me. The only time I ever summon in Elden Ring is NPCs against a boss or two. I don't bother with a bow in this game. I think I have one upgraded to level 25, but I stick to my throwing spells. They do more damage. See, I'm having a hard time seeing what's up ahead, so I'm gonna pass time until morning. Now we should be able to see where we're going a little bit more easily. fall from some pretty high drops and not take any damage. Although if there are enemies around, you'll lose stamina, which is fair. If you fall from high enough, you lose health, but you have to drop pretty far for that to happen. I just lost health because I fell so far, but I couldn't see the beam that I needed to drop on top of, so it's fair. At least it didn't kill me. Then there's a boss over here, so I'm gonna summon my Mimic Ashes. I've got my seal equipped so that she can focus on firing magic instead of using a sword. That way she stays out of the way and she can fire artillery for me. I think we'll call the video here. Next time I'll probably go through the gate front, get into Castle Stormvale. So I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and I'll see everybody again in the next one.